Hey friends, it's me, the Ebony Otaku, the well-rounded nerd. I thought we'd have a little fun today and do some real-time nerding. And by that I mean start building my army based on the new rules of Warhammer 30K. I know it's a daunting task. Now let me be fully transparent. In this past year, as I've picked up playing 30K, I relied heavily on online tools to help me build my army because it was so much to learn. And like tournaments and stuff were pretty far apart, like one a quarter maybe. And then getting together with local friends to game, that could be a little difficult too. So, I was like, well, if I'm going to learn to play, I at least, got to build a list. I use the apps, I use the tools. Nothing wrong with that. A longtime tool did go offline this year. What was that called? Battle Scribe? Yeah, I believe that one went offline. New Recruit does house a lot of games and armies, and it can help in the building. Where I made the mistake was relying too much on the tools and not knowing enough about my own army. So this is one of those real-time hobbying videos where I'm going to walk through my own learning and understanding of building my list based on the rules and really understanding my own army. That was another mistake that I made as I was trying to learn everything. Like lore wise, I'm good. Like I understand my 30K, 40K lore inside and out. If I had to take a test on it to get into college, I'd be fine. But that is not the case when it comes to the rules of the game. Like I've played a lot of tabletop games, but 30 and 40K, they have a lot of rules. Like what do I mean by a lot of rules? So I'm going to show you a few books here. So the first one is the Age of Darkness rule book. This is just the rules of the game, how to play. There's a lot of lore in here too, and a lot of pictures. And there's like some army painted by Citadel painters. So there's stuff like that in there. But this is the rules, the rules. Um, it also has unique rules for each army in here as well. So not only do you need to understand the rules as far as how to play, but there are different ways that maps can be laid out, how you decide who goes first in a turn, what kind of scenario you want to play, if you want to build a scenario, how would you do that? All of that is in here. I tried to learn all of it. No, ma'am, no, sir. Absolutely not. Well, I enjoy the lore of 30K, and someone gave me some great advice. Joe, I'm talking about you. Said just focus on your army. I had these grand designs at the beginning that I was going to have like 3 armies and blah blah blah. No, she has an Emperor's Children army. That is what she has. I do have 40K kill teams, and you buy those boxes for the army you want. I've got a Word Bearers kill team. I've got a Sisters kill team. So those are separate, and I can bring things in and out as allies. And in my 30K, my original 30K box, half of that is salamanders, but that's not my army. One, I just like the Sallies and Vulcan. Vulcan lives. But if somebody wants to play an introductory game, I wanted to have units that they could use. That's what that army is really for, to be quite honest. But my army is you know the champions of Slanesh. She a whole Fulgrimite. She's an Emperor Children. It's what we did. And I really thought, I was like, oh, I'm going to build several armies. No, I'm not. Joe, you were right. Joe, look at me. You were right. We are not building several armies. I keep finding things to add to my Emperor's Children army. And as I'm growing it and changing it and finding new models, that changes the point balance. So, for those who are uninitiated with these tabletop games, whether it's Warhammer, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, whichever one you enjoy, every type of model has a point value to it. Do I even have a Warhammer model on my desk at the moment? No, they're all in their case where they belong. Every game type, every model is going to have a point value. And how powerful they are and what they can do and how far they can reach opponents with whatever attack they have, all of that's predetermined. And then it's just the luck of a dice roll, whether or not you get to do the things with your army. The 30K crowd tends to be more focused on lore. So we're not just playing the game for the points, we're playing scenarios. I think Star Wars and Lord of the Rings tends to be a lot like that too. Necromunda is becoming kind of a big deal as well. But then there are games that are just straight games like Blood Bowl the football Warhammer. You're playing a football game. It's just a game. Um, so there's so many out there, and there's ones for everyone. But I like to do real time nerding because I don't think we always give people a realistic understanding of what it means to jump into certain hobbies. And I like to do stuff in real time. So I've already logged in to the new Recruit app. It's in my Ebony Otaku profile. Um, and I'm going to start with 500, and then maybe if I'm lucky, we'll do a 1500 point force too. But the beginner games that are going on right now around me, they're all 500 points. So that's why I'm starting there. So I got my rule book. But then, ho ho ho, that's not the only book. Moss. Where's the other one? Look, it's on the floor back behind me. Remember, there's loyalists and there's traitors. Loyalists and heretics. So there's also a Libra Hereticus. This has all the traitor legions and their special rules in it. So not only is it a matter of building an army that you like, there's 18/20 to choose from. We'll talk about why on some other video. But then you have to decide: am I going to be a loyalist army? Am I going to be a heretical army? She a whole heretic. hey, hey, I am a Fulgrim and Lorgar apologist. It is what I do. There are two traitor legions I like above all of them, and there are two loyalist legions I love above all. Just not enough to make a whole army. I do have 10 blueberries and a Rabute. I have 10 word bearers and a Lorgar, demon Lorgar. So I want a Primarch for each of the armies that I love. I actually have two Fulgrims. I have the Forge World Fulgrim, beautiful model, and I have the 40k Fulgrim with the wings and the big booty. So, yeah, I just need Vulcan now. But in here, I can find the rules specific to not just how to play, but now what does your army do, and how does it react to other things? What are things you might want to put into it? But then, oh wait, friends, there's more. Another book. Oh my god. The third book in all of this, because not only did Games Workshop release an update to the 30k rules, they also released the Champions of Slaanesh box, which can be used in 30k. You just got to make sure you pick the right models, and that's because the Emperor's Children were fully corrupt by the time 40k comes around. So yeah, backwards compatibility. Here's what I love about the new version. There is an introductory rule set, and this is what I'm going to be working out of primarily for building my army. But there's introductory rules on how to play. Yay, we love that. We love it for us. So as I'm playing the game, that's going to be my little friend to help me learn, movement and stuff. But then there is the Champions of Slaanesh book. These some ugly beast. Was it worth it? I like my face. Mm, that beat with an ugly stick. But wait, there's more. She's also on a big stompy robot kick. We call those Titans and Knights. So I have two Cerastus Knights now. I have a Knight Lancer, um, and a Knight Castigator. I gotta learn the rules for those too. Those come in as detachments. So there's rules for everything. Luckily, this book and this book are not as bad as this book. And the other thing that I really love that the Champions of Slaanesh came with were data cards for every single model type. This doesn't include everything you could ever have, all the way back to the 30k boxes, but there's a lot here, so I'm super happy about these. So I'm going to put those back in here. I'm going to start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. So I'm actually going to pop open the rule book first, not the Libra Hereticus. And let's check out what's in the rules for the Emperor's Children. So the appendix is your friend. These books are massive. Oh, the other thing that comes in the rule books now, they have expanded the little cheat sheet for what certain things mean. This is what they call a reference compendium. So this has everything from tactical statuses, how the turns work, core reactions. So between this, which is now, 6 pages front and back, well, 3 pages front and back for 6 pages total, plus this quick guide on how to play. It's going to be so much easier to learn the game. What Games Workshop, y'all did your big one with this. Thank you. This actually makes it easier on people like me. I'm going to the contents to turn to the Emperor's Children. Rules of battle, movement, blah, 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 blah. Dadgummit, my computer blinked in the middle of me recording. Now I have to join 2 recordings together. Let me make sure it's going to do that. Hold up. Yep, it's there. Okay, no big deal. I'll just join the 2 of those together later. Okay, I gotta remember to move the mouse once in a while. So I am going to jump over to the Emperor's Children. I'm not too much worried about rules of battle right now. I will get there. Model types, Age of Darkness, core rules, blah, 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 blah. Legion Custodes. You Custodes players, I swear. Sons of Horus. Half the reason you get these books is the pictures and the lore. But we're only talking about my army today. No other army matters. Angron, Ingriron, Ferris Manus, Blood Angels. Come on. The Night Lords. Imperial Guard, Space Wolves. Come on. Peterable. Fulgrim. Here he is. Fulgrim. Trying to get a good angle on him. He thinks he's the prettiest one. Sanguinius is the prettiest one. So he is, just to give you a little bit of lore out of here. Reading voice. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure my computer is not going to do that dumb thing to me again. Display settings. Opened way over here. I'm going to make sure that this doesn't blink out on me again, because that was rather annoying. It's not that I don't mind joining videos together and editing, it just takes more time than I want to take. You time. Notification, sound, volume, storage. Aha! Screen. That's what I want. What did I say about doing stuff in real time? Oh! You know why it did that? My dadgum power cord wasn't plugged in all the way. That's why. That was a me problem. Whoops! Plugged in 1 hour. Yep. If it's not plugged in 10 minutes. That was a me problem. Y'all can laugh. I'm gonna leave this in here. I don't care. All right. Anyway, the Emperor's Children. The third legion is started. So the legionaries of the Emperor's Children have always tried to be exemplars above all others in the arts of war, paragons of martial virtue and excellence, scorning those who did not meet their standards. This led to them to seek perfection in war as a fluid, lightning-quick force whose battles were preordained victories brought about by a combination of acute strategic planning and flawless execution. Always they sought greater challenges against which to prove themselves and attained greater glories in turn. From this vaunted height, the Third Legion would descend into treachery and become the lowest and most vile of creatures, enslaved to pride and consumed by desires that no natural power could fulfill. The history of the Legion's deeds before its fall is not simply a history of what was and what is achieved, but a history of how it created its own doom. For as the ancient text says, pride goes before a fall. And seldom has this proverb been more apt than in the case of the Third Legion. So we get a little bit of history in these books about your Legion. So again, if you're playing 30K, it can be very narrative driven, which is not a bad thing. But if you are just wanting to sit and play a game, I would highly advise Kill Team in 40K. And I love 30K. I think it's great. But it is very much a lot of playing a scenario versus just go out there and do the thing. Now, I think any game can be turned into a scenario, but I don't know enough about the ones I don't play to give a comment on that. So, And I think I misspoke earlier because I was comparing this to the other rule book. The other rule book did have some more expanded things in here. So what you need this rule book for is as you're playing with your army, there will be rules in here that you need to refer to. So let me make sure I correct myself there. So here in Liber Hereticus is where I can look up about the Emperor's Children, but it will refer and say, hey, on page blah, blah, blah of the rule book, this is what this means when we talk about it, which is why you don't have to read the whole rule book. Start with your own army. So I want to make sure I said that correctly. I said it backwards. So I'm going to get to the Emperor's Children in Liber Hereticus. Da-da-da. Night Lord's Raptor. Not looking for you, Night Lords. Aha, look at all that purple. And you know what I'm going to do? A bookmark is what I'm going to do. So here is where we can start understanding our own legion. And our own legion this time, of course, is the Emperor's Children. So, whoop, here we go. I need. All right. What's funny is when it says Traded Legions Astartes. Yes, I'm showing pictures like we're in third grade. It starts with the Emperor's Children. Going to be the first one. So the Traitor Legions. In this part of the book, you will find sections dedicated to those legions who turned against the emperor and swore loyalty to War Master Horus. Each section will contain the following: an armory section containing additional war gear or upgrades available to models or units with the appropriate trait. One or more rights of war, giving a selection of rules for using that legion on the tabletop. More details on selecting and using rights of war can be found on page 15. Other additional rules available to that legion. This may include additional detachments, which may become available if certain models unique to that legion are selected as part of an army. A selection of units unique to that legion, including the legion's Primarch and other notable characters of that legion. Each will note their battlefield role as well as any special rules and unique war gear they have. Such units can be included in a detachment with the appropriate faction trait using the normal rules for army selection found in the Warhammer Horus Heresy Age of Darkness rulebook. So there's that reference. So my husband and I had actually gotten tabs that were made for the older rulebook, so we could mark from our armies that we were how to get to them in the main book. So when it said go to page 30, we had it marked and what was on page 30. Like, was it about dreadnoughts? What is it about the cacophony? Whatever it happened to be. And now we're in a whole new set of books. Like I know, y'all. I know. For some of us, this is like, it's terrible. It's an opportunity. Get new people into it. Okay. All right. So now with the Emperor's Children, this was the only legion that was able to bear the Emperor's standard. So the double-headed eagle, the sign of the Aquila. This look like a sign, but anyway, we're not going to go there. But that's what it is. I keep dropping my transfers, which I don't. I'm going to give them to my husband anyway because I stink at doing transfers. Um, so now I first get to learn about the armory traits of the Emperor's Children. So those armory traits are going to start showing up over here when I'm thinking about what types of troops I'm going to include. And again, all I did here was create a new list, and that's it. And you pick the type of list that you need. So I'm doing Horus Heresy. They're keeping new recruit or any of these apps. You got to make sure you're comparing your list back to the official rule book so you don't accidentally try to do a set of points or combinations that don't fit the book, because let me tell you, the ones who study this like they're going to college on it will let you know. All right, so the following comprises new options and war gear available only to models with the Emperor's Children trait. So, surgical augments. Towards the end of the Great Crusade, the Legion's armorers and apothecaries had begun to experiment with surgical augments and cyclosonic weaponry, in part on Xenos designs, although their true breakthroughs in these fields would not occur until given unholy impetus, impetus, impetus. Oh, that's how you spell that. And inspiration during the Legion's fall. Some success had already been reached in creating effective combat implants, which were finding selective use as the Horus Heresy dawned. Any model with the command or champion subtype and the Emperor's Children and traitor traits may have one of the following selected for it: Sonic Shriekers, Sonic Lance. So as we start building our Sonic Shriekers, they add 15 points per model if I make them a Shrieker. If I give them a Sonic Lance, that's 10 points per model. So as you're building your models and you're looking at the boxes, you compare these point lists to what's in that box. That's why there's so many weapons options. Now I know people, I ain't one of those people, by the way, who magnetize even on the smallest of models. I don't do that. Like for tanks, transport, knights, dreadnoughts, I will magnetize things. Any smaller than a dreadnought, she can't be bothered because the dreadnoughts interchange weapons, but they have clips on there. If there's no clip, I will magnetize, but outside, no, no, ma'am, no, sir, absolutely not. If you are that kind of person who wants to change out your load for every, good on ya. You'll hear a lot of people say things like, "Well, we're playing WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get." Oh, side note, look, if you're teaching somebody how to play, don't speak in acronyms. First time somebody said that to me, I said, "Well, what? WYSIWYG." I was like, "Kazoo type." Uh, what you see is what you get. Yeah, that's what that stands for. So I hope I help somebody out here. So then we got to talk about ranged weapons. A model with a sonic lance has the following additional weapons. So if I give them a sonic lance, they also have special rules and they have sonic and assault. And then we look at Phoenix Power Spears, Phoenix Warden. A Phoenix Warden is a personal guard of the Primarch. Now, I do have a what are they called? A Praetor for my army, and he has a personal guard. In most 30K games, they're not going to allow named characters. I have an Eidolon, I have Fulgrim, and I have them in the right scale too. I do. They're Forge World models, um, but in most games, I won't be allowed to play them. That's what one page rules is for. All right, so then there are rights of war, and this is what confused me a lot. So I'm on page 126 of Lira Hereticus, the new one. Yes, we have the old ones too. Great bedtime reading. Right of war, legionaries, Astartes, emperor's children. I never understood what these meant until recently. So let me read a couple to you. So Legion Tactica. All models with the Emperor's Children trait, excluding models with vehicle type, are subject to the following special rule. Flawless execution. Eager to prove their superiority, Fulgrim's legion strove to draw first blood, and a few of their opponents possessed the skill to stand against them. Although each was a consummate duelist with sword and saber, the Emperor's children were able to wield all the weapons of the legion's panoply with a prodigal talent. Why can't I say panoply? But not okay. Anyway, Emperor's children gain an initiative bonus when they successfully charge. So if I'm rushing in, on the game table, charging means I've did all my actions. I've done my first little bit of fighting, and now I'm close enough that I can try to rush them. So I'm gonna see how far that distance is. Like say it's 10 inches, I'm gonna roll a couple of dice, and if those dice added together equal in number the amount of inches I need to go, so maybe I roll a 12. So yeah, I can make that distance. But it also says I gain an initiative bonus when they successfully charge. So I can I think that means I could steal initiative. All you experts out there keep me sane. On any turn in which they made a charge move, models with this special rule gain an additional modifier to their combat initiative of +1 until the end of the phase. Gambit. When selecting Gambit, so this is another right of war, the controlling player of a model with the Emperor's Children trait can select Paragon of Excellence instead of any other traits available. What this does is the Emperor's Children prided themselves on excellence in all things, and those among their number that received the acknowledgement of Fulgrim himself were held as icons for the rest of the Legion to emulate. The Gambit allows the controlling player a bonus to focus roll in the first round of challenge. The gambit can only be selected during the first face-off step of a challenge involving this model. While this gambit is selected during the focus step, controlling player gains +2 modifier on the focus roll. So this is where the game starts getting mathy. And this is why a list builder becomes handy, because these list builders, what they end up doing is once you understand from the books what you can and can't do and what your army list should look like, and you build your list, it will actually list out all of these traits for you that apply to what you've selected. So then there's things like additional detachment. An army that has a primary detachment with the Emperor's Children faction may select the following detachment: primary wings, um, and an auxiliary attachment. So I can get, I can put a knight out there and dreadnoughts and all that kind of stuff. Um, Moving on, other rights of war that are in here. So I'm going to skip over those, but there's a bunch of different rights of war. So as you're building your army and you choose your right of war, you've got to read these and go, so what's the advantage if I take this right of war? Like Brotherhood of the Phoenix. If I was to take this one, this detachment can, oh, sorry, that's additional detachment. What if I take the Broken Mirror? When this is selected, the controlling player doubles any bonus for outside support and also gains a bonus when stupefied. So you gotta, and not every tournament will let you pick every right of war. So you gotta pay attention not only to the rules in the book, but the rules in the tournament. Who does this appeal to? People who like fiddly stuff with rules, or people who like socializing and learning together. I happen to be both of those things. All right. Um, Now, let's talk about Fulgrim. If I was to play Fulgrim, look at this drawing of him. This is actually what the Forge World model looks like. That's the model. That's the drawing it's based on. So that's kind of great. We love to see it. Um, Primarch of the Emperor's Children. He's worth 425 points. So let's think about this. I'm doing a 500-point army. You have to balance your powerful figures with your not so powerful. Do you think in a 425-point army I can bring one model? I'm sorry, a 500-point army I can bring one model that's 425? Absolutely not. This Joker is larger armies. I think it has to be at least 2,500. I might be wrong on that, but a much larger army to even use this model. Same thing with things like Titans and Knights. You can't put. If I was to play Knights, I could play a Knight in a 500-point army and his little armigers that help him, go where he's going. So that's what you got to be careful of. When you're, I didn't realize this when I first started playing. You can't just buy models and go, look, this is what I have. Like they're all worth something. They all have different abilities. They all have the ability to advance and react and shoot differently. And those points have to balance out so that the armies are as even as they can be, so that you can have a good game. It's now even within that, like my 3,000 points might look different from somebody else's. I have a Titan and two Knights. But my Titan is a baby Titan. He's just a little bitty warlord. There's somebody out there with, what are they called? What's the big one called? A warlord. But I think those have to be some 5,000-point games. I haven't played a 5,000-point game because the warlord is huge. He's a big boy. Um, let's see. So if I was going to use Fulgrim, when you're looking in the book, you see those little numbers around here, like this little ruler of numbers. That confused me so much, and that's where'd it go? So many pieces of paper. I was organized, and then I wasn't. There it is. Haha. That's where this comes in handy. Their little cheat sheet. So it says MWSBSST. What does all that mean? These are Fulgrim stats. I'm gonna tell you what it means. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I had it all here. I know somebody's screaming at the screen right now. I know what it means. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you know. I don't have it all memorized. If I did, this would not be a true learning video. Now, would it? You want an expert? You go to a different channel. Go to the Accountability Buddies. They're experts. They're great. They actually help me a lot in learning. I never claimed to be an expert. What's my phrase? I'm just a beggar telling another beggar where I found bread. Ba, 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 ba. Where's that little thing that tells you what each of these are? Ah! I was all prepared. And then now I've been thrown. I've been thrown! I know what some of them are. Like WS is weapon skill, BS is ballistic skill, um, I is initiative. But there's some in here I haven't seen before. And that's what I was trying to. Where's the little cheat sheet on those acronyms? This is why you don't speak in acronyms, because no one will understand you if they're new to it. Not everybody likes playing new players because they're like, the game's not going fast enough. Well, just always remember this: you were new once as well. And teaching is not everybody's gift. It's not. It's not for everybody. So if teaching is not your gift and you get to a tournament and you just, it's like, look, I'm not in the mood to do that today, then what you do, found it. It's on page 12. What you do is you go up to the game master and say, hey, look, I know we've got 3 new players here, and I am so glad they're here, but I want them to have a great experience. They will have a better experience if I'm not the one to play. Because there will be people there like me who are like, oh, heck yeah, send me the newbie. It's a good time. So, yeah, found it. All right, so pages 12 and 13 out of the Horus Heresy Introductory Rules Miniatures Construction Guide. So WS is weapon skill, BS is ballistic skill, S is strength, T toughness, W wound, I initiative, A attack, SV armor save, I MV is invulnerable save. And there's more. R is range, FP is firepower, RS is ranged strength, IM is initiative modifier, AM attacks modifier, SM strength modifier, AP armor penetration, D damage. Now, why am I doing this? Because I'm teaching myself while I teach y'all. We're learning together. Because I didn't do this with my army. You know what I did? Okay. Can I be so for real? Can I be so for real and transparent right now? One of my girlfriends asked me, this is so bad. I'm about to out myself. I already said, my friends all know. She was like, how did you learn all these games? I said, girl, I didn't learn these games. I just show up and people tell me how to play. Or my husband reads the rules and he tells me how to play. I'm really endeavoring to learn now, though. I'm trying not to be that heifer anymore. I appreciate all the help, but look, y'all see me studying. And part of this is me proving that I'm studying. Okay, so there's that. So then you got to think about with your character. So that was Fulgrim, but then there's also Fulgrim Transfigured. So this is great. Remember, I'm in the 30K book. Look what's in here. I have him too. That is 40K Fulgrim. He is allowed in 30K. That's why that Sons of Slanesh is such a big deal to us 30K players. Guess how much this heifer's worth? 600 points. Not in a 500 point army. No, ma'am, no, sir. Absolutely not. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. He too powerful. And why? Why did you buy a model you can't use? Because I also play fantasy, OPR, and I have a friend, hey Connor, who does all giants. So all my demon primarchs are gonna go up against all his giants. That's how that works. So then there is a Lord Commander Eidolon. He's a named character. Um, he's worth 215 points, so not as much, half as much as a Primarch. So may or may not be able to play him. Primarchs are definitely not allowed a lot of times, but it depends on who you're playing with and the purpose of the game. The groups that I play with typically no named characters. I think I've said that 37 times. But Eidolon, he read the Horus Heresy. He's kind of a big deal. Um, but he's worth 215. He has war gear as a Glory Eterna, Archaeotech pistol, Sonic Shriekers, Death Scream, Frag grenades, and Crack grenades. He's a traitor. He's from Emperor's Children. He's a Master of the Legion. So here's why you got to start um, looking at the what these different models can do. So he has a power trait. Um, he has an IM, and IM was, see, you see me looking through all these books together. I had it open over here. Over here is where I had it open. Back to pages 12 and 13. Let me just leave this open. Real time hobbying. Good time. All right. So IM is, I just read it, initiative modifier. His is -2. Oh, wow. Wow. AM is attack modifier. He gets a +2. Wow. AP is armor piercing, I believe. Yeah, armor penetration. He's got 2 on that. Critical hit at 6 plus. He does have ranged weapons that use templates, and what those templates mean is that when you use a weapon that has a blast and has a radius, you lay a template down to know how far it went, and you roll a dice to see what direction it went. Captain Lucius is an option. I would never play Captain Lucius. I don't like him. Saul Tarvet. Nope. All right. So now starting to get into troops. Phoenix Terminator Squad. I have a lot of Terminators. A lot. So here's why I like the Terminators. I've got a couple of different types of Terminators. Some that are Phoenix Terminator, and then I've got a couple of others. But here's what you can get. So may include up to 5 additional Phoenix Terminators at 35 points per model, but a squad of Phoenix Terminators, which is 1 Phoenix Champion and 4 Terminators, is worth 200 points. So if I was going to put Terminators in this army, that would only leave me 300 more points if I'm allowed to have that many Terminators. I don't know yet. I haven't started mixing it around. But a Phoenix Terminator has a weapon skill of 5, and where is it? His initiative is 4. So that initiative matters because that's how far they can move. In any, I'm sorry, their M is movement. They have movement of 7. Most models, I think, have a movement of like 8. Let me check here. My other models can go a little bit faster. When I say most, I'm referring to the Emperor's Children. I can't refer to other models that aren't mine. Nope, these all have movement 7. So the Phoenix Terminators can go okay fast. They're not fast. Like just regular troops, I think, can go another couple of inches faster. That's what I'm looking at real quick as I go through here. Right to full. Don't care about the Iron Warriors. Went too far. God, that's beautiful, Fulgrim. Um, Vehicle, heraldry. Where is? Don't care about you, Lord Commander Eidolon. I'm pretty sure it's 8 or 9 for regular legionaries. I'll have 8. Yeah, it's 8. So I have to go back and look at that. Like Fulgrim can go 8 inches at a time. Fulgrim Transfigured can go 14 inches at a time. My Titan can go a stupid long distance. Eidolon can go 12. Lucius can only go 7. So every model has a different distance it can go when it's its turn to move, and how far can it go and still attack. I know, right? So with the Terminator squad, they can have power spears. Special rules, they are bulky and skill unmatched, so that's why they're slow. That's why they can't go as fast as other stuff. However, they beefy. They hard to kill. So when you're starting to learn tactics, so when I go and look at the different vehicle types and what they can carry, which that's over here. Let me make sure I mark my page. So now I'm coming back over here to the rule book. Let's look at vehicles. What can carry my husband was doing this. I was driving us somewhere and he was going through all these books. And I was like, you know what? I put too much on him. I need to be a deer and learn how to use my own stuff. Advanced principles, don't care about that. Principles of combat. I actually understand the principles of combat pretty well. After you play the game 47 times, that part you're going to get. Nope. I forget which book has my tanks in it. Check target, movement phase, buildings and weapons, battlefield terrain. And the good thing is, on each of these pages, I know this is an intimidating size book. Look, none of the pages are filled with text. It's half pictures. It's still a big book, but there's not as much on each page as you think. Here we go. Vehicle subtypes. So we have rapid, stable, super heavy, flyers, flying for combat, drop missions, which I've never done drop pods. Oh wait, this is all attack. Vehicle damage table, penetration. All right, vehicles and units, vehicle tactical status. I think I might be in the wrong book. Real time hobbying, y'all. I'm showing you how much it hurts. But if you like this kind of thing, it can be fun. Let me check Legion Hereticus to see if I've got vehicles in here. One of these books has the vehicles. Garviel Logan, oh. Flipping pages. Where is. Okay. Where are the vehicles? I'm crazy. I'm having a moment. I know they're in here. Oh! Oh my god, it was the page before Fulgrim. I'm gonna be quiet while y'all laugh at me. Okay, armor. So Predator, which I have a Predator tank. I'm not picking this up again. So it can move 12. And then it's beefier on all sides. So on my little B Terminator, he's got a strength of 4. And then also his armor, where is it? His armor is a 2, and then on the Phoenix Champion, it's a 3. On This Pred tank, the front is 13, the side is 12, and the rear is 10. And he has 5 hit points. So you gotta penetrate 5 times in order to take that tank out. But it can also be used as transport. So my Terminators are super slow. So I can use that as transport to get them closer to where I want them to be and then let them out. Because the Emperor's Children pride themselves on sword fighting, it is very much a melee army. I didn't know that going in. Had no idea. I just knew that I liked Emperor's Children and Fulgrim, and I'm a Fulgrim apologist. That's what I knew. um, so yeah, yeah. Okay, so it's got a turret and 2 sponson-mounted heavy bolters. That's exactly what I've got. It's a vehicle. Options: this model may have a turret. It can have a sponson. May have searchlights. I have a searchlight on mine because if people want to play at night, you need the light. Actually, it says type vehicle. Let's see here. The Predator, perhaps the best known as widespread variant, equipped with superior armor, superior firepower, but sacrificing the Rhino's troop transport capacity entirely. Oh, I had heard that the transport on the Pred tank. I'm looking at the wrong tank. I have a Spartan tank. I don't have a Pred tank. I have a Spartan tank. Real time hobbying. Y'all can laugh at me later. Where is it? Scorpius missile tank, Aquator bomber, heavy tank destroyer, Typhon heavy siege tank, Glade tank. Is my tank not in here anymore? Falcon, Dokar, Thunderhawk. I had planned on getting some rhinos for transport, but I do. Oh, did I just learn something? I do not see. I've got jet bikes. Those are fast attack. Uh-oh. I don't think my tank is transport anymore. I'm looking at the ones that have capacity on them. Kratos assault tank, Vindicator siege tank, Scorpius missile tank. Oh! Well, I'm glad I looked. A Sirkar Stormbird has a capacity of 52. A Thunderhawk gunship has a capacity of 32. I hate building vehicles. I like building big stoppy robots. I hate building vehicles. Uh, Mastodon super heavy assault tank can carry 42. I don't even see the Rhino and the other in here. Well, now I can see why people are having feelings. And look at me, your feelings are valid. Um, I'm having less feelings because can I be real candid with y'all? I built one tank. One. One. Oh, here it is, a Spartan tank. Yes. Never mind. Never mind. I built one tank. It's on page 84. I had to flip back some more, so it's considered something different. So what is the heading on this? Heavy transport. Okay, so I can still use my Spartan, but it can carry 26, so it'll carry my Terminators basically. Um, all the other stuff is the same. Auto repairs on a 4 plus. I never knew that. See, this is why you got to read the rules. Nobody ever told me you could auto repair if I rolled a 4 plus. I know now. Like, hold up, you shot me. Shh, shh, roll. What damage? No, but um, but with that, um, I built a Spartan tank and it nearly took me out. I building's not my favorite thing, but I do like building the stompy robots, like a Terminator and bigger. I'm into it. Smaller than that, I'm like, oh. So I was like, oh, I can build a tank. It'll be fine. No, it wasn't fine. So the next tanks, I printed them. I'm not even gonna lie. It's not even that I don't mind giving G Dubs my money. Obvious, I don't mind giving them my money. Them tanks took me out. Can't do it. Them built 2 nights. Didn't bother me. Built armigers, no problems. Just put together the champions of Slanesh in like 2 days. Fine. Them tanks, no, absolutely not. Not doing it again. Okay, so learning in real time, y'all. So with my Spartan, which is a unit of 1, he is 14 all around, front, side, and rear. He's got a movement of 10 inches, and he can carry 26, which is awesome. He is a transport vehicle that can shoot. He's got 2 sponson mounted last cannons and front mounted twin heavy bolters, which is exactly what I have on him. I do not have any drop pods. Just the concept of a drop pod, I'm just like, oh, just falling out the air. No. Um, I think for me, that's it for my transport. I don't see there's Land Raider Carrier, and that can carry 12, but my Spartan can carry 26. My husband has rhinos. And depending on the size of the army, I may not, because my Pred tanks, Land Raider these can carry 10 each. So if I have little Land Raiders, I'd need 2 up to 3 of those to carry as much as the one tank. Decisions. This is where army building gets fun. Okay. Anyway, now that I figured that out, that was fun. Flippy, flippy. um, so Terminator squads, Palatine blades. I have a bunch of Palatine blades. They're sword fighters. They have bolters, but again, it's a melee army. I That's why I need a second transport. I need something to transport my Terminators and something to transport my Palatines. I also have Cacophony, which they literally can do and scream your ears out, and then you go. But they can move 7 inches just like the Terminator, so transport's good for them. Their war gear is that Palatine blade, and it gets a +1. That's breaching at 5 and duelist edge. They have grenades. They have a bolt pistol. But really they are a infantry get in the middle of the fight. Cacophony squad has a range of 36 inches. So they can scream at you from across the board. That's why they're great. Like my Titan is such a distraction because when I get to a 3,000 point game and I can bring the Titan, he's only worth 750 points. He's not as beefy as you think he is. Like the Warlord's not that beefy, but he's just a vehicle. But he's a vehicle that's tough, and he does have one gun that gets 15 dice. So let me tell you, Homegirl has rolled 15 ones. That was weird. But what I do, I'm just revealing my tactics here. I use my big vehicle as a distraction, so people will go after the Titan. While I have gives me a chance to move everything else where I want it. So the Palatine blades are basically duelists. If they get close to you, again, I have a melee army, choppy choppy. Um, their weapon skill is 5. I think for me, everything except for the Cacophony is weapon skill 5. The Cacophony is weapon skill 4. Um, and then let's see here. The Cacophony, which can cough on you. They are the Cacophony Sonic Streakers as their main weapon. The bolt pistol, they have frag grenades and crack grenades. And, they've got a pretty good rage. They have special rules of Overlord, Stun, and Critical Hit, and their traits are Sonic. So that's my special troops that I can have. And then I'm also bringing in some of those champions of Slaanesh. Now, with all of that knowledge, let's see if I can start clicking a 500-point list. Can she do it? We'll see. I gotta check on something real quick. Don't mind me. Woo, we have to fix that. All right, so I know y'all like, when is she ever gonna get to the list? Now. All right, so Emperor's Children. My Emperor's Children army is called the Rainbow Warriors. And every portion of the Rainbow Warriors has their own subname. All right, so first thing is allegiance. Let's see here. Allegiance. Ooh, we are not loyalist. What did I just do? Traitor. Profile. Yes. All right. Got it. Oh, look at that. I can take pictures of my armies and upload them. My husband just texted me. I think he did. He wants me to bring something, and I will. Excuse me. All right. So our allegiance is Traitor. Emperor's Children. Allegiance. Traitor. So I'm all traitored out. Now I've got to pick my right of war. Now notice all these little things here. Click on those, and it'll be like Crusade Force has 1 selection too many of allegiance. Max 2. What? How do I have too many allegiances? Well, delete one. Bye. So when you get one of these little marks, see what it means, and then it'll tell you what you need to change. So I need to pick a Rite of War, and we talked about those. I'm going to pick Pride of the Emperor for this one. Pride. Rite of War. All right. What's it saying? Rite of War has one too many selections. What? I only picked one. Emperor's Children. Okay, delete. Rite of War. Rite of War requires one selection. Okay. Here we go. Rite of War. Real. Close. No Rite of War selected. Well, let me select one. Uh-oh. Did I just delete something I needed? Yeah. Rite of War requires one or more selections. Yeah. Why is it not letting me pick a Rite of War? Hide options, add miniatures, rename unit, report issue. Huh. Not letting me pick my Rite of War. I'll fix that in a second. Anyway, HQ. Oh. Okay, over here. I got this does not work the way the last one worked, so shame on me. So Pride of the Legion, got that. Got my Rite of War done. One of one. All right, HQ. So we're not using any named characters because it's a 500 point army. I don't even think I'm going to use my Praetor. That's 120 points. Oh, can you use a Praetor in an army this size? You have to have an HQ. So Legion Praetor, frag grenades. I don't. Can he have a command squad? The command squad's 85 points, and that's 5 dudes. So two. One's a standard bearer. Did it pick? Oh, I may pick the standard bearer. Cool. All right, I'll go back and see. I need the Nuncio Vox, but I'm gonna go back and see after I do other options. So look, it's over here building out what this looks like. So I've got my Praetor. That's Fabulous Bill. I'm gonna go back in and name all my units after I do this. But now it's HQ. 3 command squad, 85 points to the Legion. What is this? Has one selection is too many of Master of the Legion. Requires one selection of Warlord. One Crusade Force organization chart. Only got one HQ selected. Can I not have a command squad? Nope, that wasn't the issue. That's one selection is too many of Master of the Legion. Requires. Well, we're gonna. I want my command squad then. Let me see. Lord of War detachments have. I'm not using the Lord of War. Lord of War are your Titans. And I do believe they are also like your knights and stuff. Let me scroll down here and make sure. Yeah, no Lords of War. So delete. We don't need that. So I need troops now. 0 of 6. HQ 205. 1 of 3. Ransod, 85 points. Okay, I'll go back and fix this in a second. So troops. All right, so I know what troops I have because I've had them for a long time. I have assault squads. I have Phoenix Terminator squads. Um, I do have Terminator Tartarus squads. Um, let's do a Terminator Tartarus squad, and then let's go for an assault squad. How many points am I total now? I'm at exactly 500 points. Compulsory troops. I have to have compulsory troops? What are compulsory troops? What are compulsory troops? Let's come down here and see. I don't know what that means. Heavy support, fast attack, troops, elites, HQ, Rite of War. I don't see a compulsory. Huh. Would that just be the assault squads? Two? Oh, it is. So now I'm over on points. I'm too high. So now I gotta get rid of something. Okay. So bye bye Terminators. At 495 points, which lets me have my Nuncio Vox. That's 500 points. Now what's wrong? Roster. I need a Warlord. 5 points to me. Oh, it does. Okay. Bye bye Nuncio Vox. Now it says 495. You know what? Requires Crusade Force organization one selection of Warlord. Master of the Legion. Okay, so let me go up and look at this Master of the Legion first. So I got 20 Legionaries and my Praetor with his assault squad, with his retinue. Huh. Let's see if I can figure this out. No Fulgrim. Lord of War detachment. Let's see here. This entry can be removed from your roster without issue the Lord of War allied detachment you need. Okay, so I'm not using this. So boom, go away. Boom, go away. Don't want you. Don't need you. Warlord. Where is Warlord? Expanded army list. Allegiance Trader. Emperor's Children. Rite of War. HQ is my Praetor. Huh. Don't you love real-time learning? My son and his friend just got home. They went kayaking. And I'm pretty sure he has class in 20 minutes. He takes evening classes. Works during the day. He's a hard worker. Rite of War HQ. What does... Let me see what that is. So this is where the books come in handy because I don't know what this Warlord and Master of the Legion is. So I'm going to get back here to my appendix. This is the wrong book. This book doesn't have the appendix I want. I'm looking for Master of the Legion. Okay. Well, that's not in here. Warlord. Let's see if Warlord's in here. 281. Okay. Been a long day. I tired. 281. Allied detachments. Armies do not have to include an allied detachment. An army may include one warlord detachment. It must be of the same faction as the primary detachment. Warlords and Lords of War. Warlord and Lord of War units are among... Okay, so Warlord and Lord of War are two different things, but I don't have to have it. Roster requires one Warlord. No, it doesn't. I don't have to have a Warlord. I don't want a Warlord. It's 500 points. What am I going to do with a Warlord? Alright, so this is my whole list. It says 495. I need a Nuncio Vox on my... There's two of those. Two of those. I just want one Nuncio Vox. Oh, it's giving it to both of them. I don't want both of them to have it. I just want one of them to have it. Legion Standard, there's only one of him. Okay, there we go. Got it. All right. Master of the Legion, max 0. Artificer, crack grenades. Where is Master of the Legion? Let me see here. Let me come in here and make sure all my legions and stuff are correct. We're going to go with Brotherhood of the Phoenix, corrupted. Kill that Rite of War. Looking at the Praetor again. So I've got the points right. Praetor cannot be selected while hidden. Who's hiding the praetor? I'm not hiding the praetor. I didn't hide the praetor. Who hid the praetor? I didn't hide the praetor. Artificer, armor, frag grenades, crack grenades. I have to have an HQ, and that would be the praetor. 3 people in his command squad. One of them is the standard bearer, and he has the Nuncio Vox. 10 assault troops, 20 assault troops. It's a really small force. Primarch? Oh, absolutely not. How did Primarch get in here? Oh no, you can go. Nobody's playing a Primarch in 500 points. Oh, it's cause of the Rite of War I chose. Let's go Children of the Meraviglia. Nope, still needs a Primarch. Huh. Emperor's Children, Legion, Hereticus, Allegiance, Praetor. Okay. Exemplary units, legacy units, some events and groups not allow official rules, legacy, Age of Darkness. Oh, how about legacy units off, and that might help me. Woo! So whatever's not being used. What is an exemplary unit? Okay, so we're only going to play based on the new stuff. Still hasn't helped me too much. So my troops, yeah, that's all still the same. Oh, they've changed what some stuff is called. So elites, Terminator, Tartarus Squad. Okay, those are elites now. Got it. Okay. Heavy support. I assume yep, there's one. I have a Dorito Dreadnought. I have a Leviathan. I have a Contemptor. Where's the Contemptor? What kind of support is he considered? Oh, what command I on? So any of these can be at HQ, which I added my Praetor as an HQ. And I could have a Praetor with Cataphractia, a Praetor with Tartarus. Oh, wow. I got the Allegiance set, don't I? Allegiance is Traitor. Legion is Astartes, Emperor's Children, Legion Hereticus. Okay. Legions. So get rid of this. Oh, that's where it was too much. Get rid of that too. Why do I have a bunch of... Every time I click over here to the right, it adds it. Okay. I see what I did. I just learned something. Rite of War requires one selection in war. Okay. So, Rite of War. And we're going to go with Pride of the Legion. Okay. Okay, now I can fix my HQ. Blaster. I don't know what Master of the Legion is and how to get rid of the Warlord. I might have to ask my husband to help me on that one. Oh god, I've been going for an hour and a half. This is going to be a long video. So, Legiones Astartes or Hereticus. I thought I picked that. It's already in here. Traitor. Yeah. Elite. Yeah, so we're good. I've got my Rite of War. I've got what my Legion is. Okay, so that can go. Hereticus. Cool. Now what? I selected Allegiance. Emperor's Children, Legion Hereticus. I'm so confused. This is why it helps to have someone around who knows this a little bit better than you do. But this is not my forte at all. Is the army building, the building and painting. Obviously, I'm decent at, but this is work. So I'm gonna I'm gonna end this video here because it's getting out of control because I'm confusing myself. But hopefully in the next one, maybe I can learn how to do this properly and we can build some more army list when I get back to this. Because I know I've got some practice games coming and I really want to have a list ready. I've got the points right for a practice game. Now I can't get the rest of this right, and I don't know why. I'm trying to make it right. What does this mean? Cannot be selected while hidden. Okay, so go away then. I'm going to delete all this stuff and then just figure it out again. Okay. I'm not going to figure this out right now. If you stuck with me to the end, bless you. Share this with anyone who needs a friend while they learn these new rules and learn how to build their army themselves. I know it's a lot, but we going to get there together. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.